Chapter 6. After the chores, I spend most of the day by Tina's habitat. Just before closing time, Kyle meets me there and hands me something large and heavy and wrapped in a hand towel. The key is no ordinary key. It's like something out of a fairy tale or a computer game, something to open an intricate iron door to a dungeon or castle tower. It's big, about the size of my hand, heavy and red with rust. There's a sticker on it. Old tiger cage, scrawled in green ballpoint. Thanks, I say, and Kyle shrugs. If you're caught, you didn't get that key from me, he says, but nobody's been using that key for ages. They'll assume it got lost a long time ago. I scratch the sticker off. Right. What do you want it for? You can't lock the cage during the day. People will notice if the kids can't play inside anymore. Doesn't matter. I clench my hand around the key, glance at my watch. I need to be alone. I need the day to be over. Just in time. The closing announcement drifts over the zoo. Closing time, I say. Don't you have a megaphone to chant into or something? Bad company to join? I feel guilty when he looks hurt and leaves, but I can't wait for the zoo to empty. Can't wait to claim my home. I vanish into one of my hiding spots for the long wait, but when the staff has left, when the cleaning crew has left, the zoo's finally all mine. I get inside my cage, pull the door shut, and insert the key. Rust scrapes against rust. A red cloud shivers around the lock as I turn the key, but it works at last. Something clicks, and the door no longer moves. I put the key back in my pocket, grab the bar of the door, and shake it. It doesn't budge. I'm locked in. Hey, the key worked. I step back from the bars as my heart starts to race. But it's only Kyle. He's been standing in the shadow of the trees on the other side of the path. He probably saw my hiding place, too. You're spying on me? That cage is an exhibition. You're the one who locked the door and put yourself on display. I fluff up my hay, pull my backpack and my water bottles within reach, and settle down, munching on an apple. I don't care, I say, between noisy bites, and realize that I don't. I'm in here, the key is in my pocket, and the cage is locked. Cock all you like. Kyle steps closer. His hand curls around the bars higher than the kid's reach. A few flakes of rust fall down, settle on the fresh hay scattered around the bottom of the cage. Maybe we need a new sign, he says. Leia, Homo sapiens weirdo. Age, teenage. Natural habitat, unknown. Feeds on chocolate and scavenges fruit from other ape species. I scowl. Whatever. Kyle grins. He steps closer, pushes a paper bag between the bars. I brought you a couple of books, just animal stuff from Mom's office, in case you're bored. There's a flashlight, too. I put in fresh batteries. Reading books by flashlight. I remember doing that when I was little. Mom catching me, trying not to smile as she took the flashlight away and told me to go to sleep. I stare at the bag as it sinks into the hay, wondering why he's doing this. Because everybody always has a hidden agenda. I look at him, but his face tells me nothing. Thanks, I mumble, and he waves as he leaves. By the time the sun rises the next morning, I've spent hours reading about evolution, and when the clock approaches opening time, I unlock the cage, swing the door open. The kids will play inside today, but tonight it will be mine again, a room of my own. The days settle into a quiet, wonderful routine. I do Cal's chores in the morning, spending as much time as I can with the elephants before the zoo opens, all the while trying to keep out of Dylan's way. After opening hours, I stay with Tina as much as I can, sitting by the bars separating us, talking with her, singing to her, playing or sneaking her food. Sometimes Kyle's there too. I'm not hungry anymore because I have a key to the food storage, and Tina and I share bananas and apples and watermelon. Tina is family, our closest relative among all the animals. But the elephants feel like family too. I'm one of them now. They know me. They like me. I'm still nervous when I enter their habitat, but never scared. Just respectful enough to be careful. I'm nervous of them like I'm nervous of cars, aiming at me at full speed, or a piano dangling above my head. It's a natural, normal kind of fear, not a crazy fear. Elephants are related to us too, I say to Kyle one day. I run a finger along my nose as I stare at Leida's little trunk, shoveling watermelon into her mouth. Imagine being related to elephants. Yeah, it's not so crazy. I mean, all living things on Earth are related. How far back are we related to the elephants? Do you expect me to remember stuff like that? Kyle points. There's a sign outside that will tell you. It's the small print in the corner. I've read every sign in the zoo, but I don't remember the details. We check the sign on our way out. It says that the common ancestors of us and the elephants lived about 100 million years ago. They were among the first placental animals and looked a lot like shrews. Between them and us are 45 million individuals. 45 million individuals have lived since my ancestors and Leida's ancestors were the same individual. That individual had two kinds of offspring. One of them led to elephants and the others to humans. It's a crazy thought. Still, it means Leida is my cousin. You know about the evolutionary path you can take through the zoo, don't you? Kyle asks. I shake my head. Kyle pulls a zoo map from his back pocket. It's a bigger version of the map every visitor gets when they enter the zoo. I've seen Kyle and the other staff members show this map to visitors when they ask something. If you take this route from the orange exit, you meet some of our most distant relatives first, then move closer and closer to our own lineage. Look, here we have the primates. First you pass the monkeys, then the apes, then the great apes, our closest cousins, and here, at the very center of the zoo, guess what's here? I squint at the map, trying to fit the location he's pointing at into the map in my head, but give up. I'm not sure. The gorillas? Kyle chuckles. Close. No, this is your cage. My cage? The old tiger cage? How do tigers fit in with the primates? Not the tigers. It's Mom's private joke. She knew kids would be in and out of the cage all day, so she put that in the center, an ongoing exhibition of the young of Homo sapiens sapiens. We're just another animal, she says, so why not put us on display too? I trail a finger back along the path on the map, away from my cage, past the primates, past several mammal species, to the elephants. Being related to the elephants means we share genes with them. Yeah, loads. Not that it means much. We also share loads of genes with rice and robins and roaches and roses, and Kyle looks around as if to look for more species starting with an R. I look down at the rocky bed beside the barred elephant fence. Rocks? It's too bad rocks don't have DNA. That'd be cool. We could have diamond DNA. Kyle kicks a can in the direction of a bin. Or metals, aluminum DNA. Yeah. Copper and tin would mate and produce little bronze babies. But why did your mom put us in the center, I asked. I mean the Homo sapiens cage. Isn't it a bit conceited to have this path leading up to the human, like we're automatically the pinnacle of evolution? Kyle shrugs. It's our zoo. If penguins had built this zoo, they'd have put themselves in the middle, right? Tina has a fixed schedule for playtime, social interaction, and feedings, so usually I can make sure I come and go when no one else is there. But one day Kyle's mom stops by, smiles distractedly at me and says hello, then stands by the bars for a while looking at Tina. I back away to a corner, worried she will go inside the habitat, worried that she'll terrify Tina. But I'm being stupid. She's the expert after all. She's the one who gave Tina shelter here in the first place. She's looking better, isn't she? Eve says at last. Her eyes are bright and she's playing. She doesn't look terrified like she did all the time during her first days with us. And she's filling out. She actually looks quite healthy. Baby steps, but this is excellent progress in only a few days. Yeah, I say. I want to say something more about how Tina sometimes asks me to play, or how she still doesn't dare take fruit out of my hand when I reach through the bars, but I'm not sure I'm supposed to spend so much time here. So I shut up. But Eve reads my mind. I know you've been spending a lot of time with Tina, she says. Maybe we have you to thank for some of the progress. I look down mute. Where's Kyle? She asks, looking around. My heart beats faster. Kyle doesn't leave the zoo a lot, not nearly as much as I thought he would, but I hate being responsible for the excuses. I think he went back to the orangutans, I say, stammering a bit. That baby really likes him. He sometimes has a bit of trouble getting away. You like him too, don't you? She says, and my face turns redder than the apple in Tina's hand. Sorry, she says, laughing. I didn't mean to embarrass you, but you guys seem to be together all the time. You're always around here, so he must like you a lot. I bite my lip and look down. I'm really glad he has such a close friend, Eve says. He's had some problems lately. Bad company, I say automatically. Eve looks surprised. He told you about that? Not exactly, I say. I just assumed. She nods. I think we're past that now. We have some trust issues. At the moment, he resents me, but we will recover. And now, with you in the picture, I think he'll be fine. You two are very different, but I think you ground him a bit. I'm glad he has you. I look away. I'm such a total fraud. I'm sorry, Eve says. She laughs. Now I'm really embarrassing you. You guys are just kids, and here I am talking to you, like you're my daughter-in-law. I stare in utter absorption at the muddy floor. Eve grins. She wiggles fingers at me as she leaves, and I sink down to an overturned crate and feel exhausted. Tina comes closer after Eve leaves, sits down a few feet away from the bars and starts rocking. She still sits and rocks back and forth a lot, but not as much as she used to. I try something new. I inch closer to the barrier between us, cross my legs, and place my hands at each side of my head like Tina does. I hunch over and start rocking. It's strangely soothing, but I get bored quickly. So does Tina. She sits still, staring at me. I break eye contact and rip some grass from the ground on her side of the bars. I weave a long straw around my finger, wrap a blade of grass around my thumb. A tiny ant crawls over the back of my hand, climbs gratefully into the familiar grass. I put my hand on the ground and allow the ant to escape. Tina sighs. Bored? I ask her. She blinks. See what I've got. I reach into my pocket, hold up a small orange plastic container, another treasure someone left behind at the zoo. Tina stares. Curiosity brings her a few steps closer. Then she sinks to the ground and blinks some more. I unscrew the lid, pull up the top, put the plastic stick against the wires, and blow. A long string of soap bubbles floats through the air toward Tina. She stares, lumbers to her feet, goes cross-eyed when a large bubble comes closer and closer, sneezes in surprise when the bubble bursts against her nose. Then she starts the chase, hands and feet in a blur as she slams against every bubble she finds, and in a little while, I'm lying on the ground, my stomach aching from too much laughter, and she still hasn't had enough. She holds out a hand, yapping at me. For once, I understand chimpanzee. More. My hands are wet and slippery, the cuffs of my shirt soaked. I turn the soap container upside down. Some froth leaks out, but that's all. We're out of soap, I tell her. I'll bring more tomorrow, promise. Tina sits down, crosses her arms, glares at me. I put the soap container in my pocket and pull out a banana instead. Bananas are still a favorite. I reach between the bars holding a banana out. She looks at it, up at my eyes, and back down at the banana. Her mouth works. She makes a sound, and she wants that banana, but she's still too afraid. She thinks the soap bubble game might be a trick. She thinks I may lash out. Maybe hit her with an iron bar, or kick her in the stomach, or pull her fur so hard it comes out. I shudder. It hurts to imagine someone treated her that way. I toss the banana her way. One hand shoots up and catches it. She peels her banana, smirking like she's outsmarted me. Nobody's going to hurt you anymore, I tell her, for the 100th time. Don't worry, cousin. You're safe. The bad people are gone. Her brows are heavy as she looks at me. I can almost hear her tell me that the bad people are never gone. She holds the banana peel upside down, high above her head, and looks inside. Eve's looking for a place for you, a sanctuary where there's peace and quiet, and no sticky little yelling kids. You're going to love it. Eve's a good person. I know she'll do everything she can to help you. Tina yawns. The banana peel flies through the air, lands in front of me on the other side of the bars. From 10 feet away, Tina holds out a hand. I look around to see if anyone's there, then reach inside my jacket and get the other banana. Don't tell anyone, I whisper, as I toss the banana to her. I'm not sure you're supposed to snack between meals. They have you on this super balanced diet to make up for your malnutrition, and if you snack between meals, you may miss out on some of those carefully calculated calories. Tina gobbles down the banana and holds out her hand again. I search my pocket, but all I have left is a chocolate bar. I hold out my hand and shrug, my all out of food sign, and Tina makes a dissatisfied sound, leaps back, climbs into the tree, and glares at me. Sorry, I call, settle back with my chocolate bar and a soda can someone forgot to pick up from the vending machine yesterday. I'm almost out of money after buying the clothes at the souvenir shop. I try not to think too much about it. I can survive on fruit and food that people leave behind. I'll be fine. Tina hears the rustle of the wrappers and jumps out of the tree and runs toward me. She stops a few feet away and holds out her hand, and when I don't oblige, she moves closer, her eyes insistent, determined, her sounds eager and impatient. I tear the wrapper off the chocolate and break the bar in two. I put one half in my mouth and hold the other one out toward her through the bars. She reaches out, withdraws, backs off, then approaches again, the dance repeated again and again. The chocolate starts melting in my hand, but my perseverance pays off. In the end, Tina reaches out, grabs the chocolate, and slumps away with a victorious shout. For a second, our hands touch. I sit smiling with half of a chocolate bar sticking from my mouth, and melted chocolate dribbling down my chin. On the other side of the fence, Tina lies on her back, one arm under her head, sunning herself and grinning her way through her half of our chocolate. Contact. We're sisters now.